All right, folks. Happy Thursday. We have almost made it to Friday, the end of the week here. Again, my name is Amanda Thomas. I am the director of our lead partner program here at TL Connects. I'm super thrilled that you guys were able to join us. We're really excited to have you. Today, we're going to take some time really just to provide you guys with more information, not only on who we are as a company, but also we'll talk a little bit about what resources are included within our lead partner organization. We'll also take the second half of our webinar today to really delve into the product. I really want you guys to leave with a lot of clarity this evening surrounding what you can expect specifically as a lead partner. So just so you guys know, that's kind of what our focus will be here today. And now, before we get started, I'd really like to kick things off, I think, with an introduction to Joe Brannon. He is our co-founder and CEO. I was able to sweet talk him into joining us today, and I'm really of the mind that who better to tell you more about our company, who we are, what our vision is surrounding this lead partner program than Joe. So, Joe, I'm going to let you just take it over for a few minutes, and we'll get started.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amanda, and thank you all for joining us this afternoon. Extremely excited to share what we've been doing over the last 7 years and really more about the lead partner organization. We really, as a company, we're all in and we're putting tons of money and resources into making sure this program is successful. It's an exciting part of our company. We launched it in this year, and it's a new part of our company, but it's what we feel like is going to be the biggest growing sector of our company. So give you a quick little history. As Amanda was saying, if we have some new people that just joined, if you have questions as we're going, there's a chat box. You can just chat your questions as we're going. And I'll do a few of the slides here to kind of tell you a little bit of the history of the company and the vision of the lead partner organization and really an overall vision of the company. But as you have questions for me, feel free to put them in that chat box and I'll answer them as we're going, as well as Amanda will answer them as she's going as well. So little history, we founded the company back in 2010, and the vision when I founded the company was we wanted to really simplify how merchants engage their customers and how customers engage their favorite restaurants and their favorite retailers. And what we found is doing our research before we launched the product is to be part of a rewards program or to really engage a merchant or vice versa, it was really challenging. And so we built a proprietary loyalty kiosk and customer engagement platform to really simplify that and really help merchants increase the customer visits, increase revenue, and draw back lapsed customers. So when you look at the things we focus on every day is we add value to the consumer because we're helping them save money at their favorite restaurants and their favorite retailers. We're helping the merchant increase customer visits, increase revenue. And by doing that, we get paid to use our platform. And the great part about what we built is we very rarely lose a customer. We do lose customers like every business, but a lot of times the reason we lose customers is because it's a struggling business or wasn't necessarily a good fit as a retailer. If we get into what we call our bread and butter, those independent restaurants, those nail salons, the yogurt shops, the coffee shops, we just don't lose those customers because we can prove a return on investment for those merchants. To date, we've helped thousands of merchants throughout the U.S. We're in over 40 states, but now we're trying to really scale up. How do we go from a couple thousand accounts to tens of thousands of accounts? And that's really what we're going to talk to you about. You guys, people like yourself, entrepreneurs out there, you are a big part of what's going to take us from a couple thousand to tens of thousands. Why does it make sense to partner with us? One of the things that we've done over the last 7 years is we've figured out, how to sell the product. So we've got a proven sales model. We've got a scalable platform. We currently have millions of customer interactions each month. We're always adding new products to add value. And we have a scalable infrastructure. So what that means is we've already put in the inside sales team and the dedicated account managers. So as we add new accounts, we have all these processes in place to make sure we keep the count, which means you're going to keep getting your residual revenues. So the goal of the lead partner organization is to really teach you and give you all the tools you need to go out into your market or go on the phone or go into social media and qualify the businesses and schedule web demos. Now, you do have the ability, as you'll learn, if you decide to sign up, Is no one hearing any sound? Testing 1 2. Can we?
Yes, fine. I'll call in.
Okay, great. We had one person say they couldn't hear us, so sorry about that confusion there. So I apologize for that. But yeah, the goal of the lead partnership is, we want to make this simple for you, but you can get as deeply involved or as hands off as you want when you're engaging these merchants that you're out selling, presenting our product to. So we do have an inside sales team. So really all you have to do is schedule a web demo, and we're going to set that, we're going to go through that process of closing the business, and then you're going to get paid an upfront fee as well as a residual income. Now, one of the great things that we'll teach you is you've got to learn to have that business conversation. And, a lot of people that we work with, they already have that in their repertoire because they've been doing it for a long time. So we really are looking to partner with people that have done that, maybe know how to communicate to business owners, because what you'll find, the better you get at having conversations with these business owners, the more successful you're going to be at scheduling web demos and getting them primed to look at our products so that we can close them. So walk you through the way we pay. So we direct deposit every 2 weeks. You'll have a login. You'll be able to see everything. We're going to pay you $10 per demo scheduled. And then you're going to also get a new customer acquisition bonus for every location you set up. It's going to be $327 or $399, depending on which plan they choose per location. And after that, you'll get a 20% residual on the monthly spend. So that'll be on that second month, and you'll get that for as long as they are a client. So walk you through what that looks like from account to account. So if you were to go out and you were hustling, to get 2 accounts a week, you would have to hustle. But let's say you were hustling and you're really trying to build a residual that's going to last you for years to come. One account, you would get $10 for that demo. You would get either the $327 or the $399, which is 80% of the new customer acquisition. And then you would get 20% a month. Most of our customers, a high percentage, are going to be at that $49. But the total account annually is going to be your $689 or $948. The real important number is look down here what you can earn, the potential. So year one, you're looking at the potential to earn $74,120 for 2 accounts. Now, the big thing about that, you've created a residual in that first year at about $60,000. So you literally don't do another thing. You've got a $60,000 residual from that year of effort. Now, if you really hustle and you keep it up, year 2, you're going to make $131,000, and you're going to have about $120,000 going into year 3 in residual. And that's at 2 locations per week. So if you were to close a deal with multiple locations, or we were to close that deal for you, you're going to see much higher residuals over time. So, now as we kind of go through the product, it'll kind of make more sense to kind of how great the product is for the merchants. One of the big things to focus on is you don't have to be an expert. You just need to understand that these businesses, they're looking for ways to increase revenue, increase customer frequency. And we feel like we have one of the best solutions out there to do that, because we've really just focused on simplicity. And I think when Amanda shares that, you'll see that. And we're really excited that you guys took the time to join us. And hopefully we will get you signed up and get you going through the training program and get you guys out there earning some phenomenal residuals. So I'll turn it back over to Amanda. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. So let's talk a little bit about what you actually receive once you join our lead partner organization, what that means to you, and really what we already have in place to make sure that we're supporting you as you're building your business and making sure that you're successful. So the program does include, and we're actually launching this in November, but it does include a personal branded lead partner website. So what that means is you've got your own website, so you're able to actually pass that website out, of course, right? And then it's going to have information on our product. It's going to have information on who we are as a company. It's also going to have a couple of areas for a prospect to be able to either schedule a web demonstration, and that, of course, will be linked directly to you, or to actually sign up as a paying customer, which is pretty cool. So all of our lead partners, starting in November, actually will have the ability to utilize that on personal website. Now, we also provide all of our lead partners with their own personal demo kiosk, which you guys essentially is an iPad that will be preloaded with the product presentation. So you have that on hand. Also with the ability to log into a demo account within the product itself. And then, of course, it'll have your lead partner website actually bookmarked there and ready for you to use. So in the event that you happen to be doing maybe a walk-in, you're having a great conversation, and the opportunity presents itself, you actually have something there to support you during that conversation. Now, we also send all of our lead partners printed sales collateral, as well as a template to order your own business cards. All of that is branded. We give you guys your own personal link to schedule a web demonstration. That's how we know that it's tied to you. Of course, you can use that in your outbound marketing in conjunction with that lead partner website. We give all of our lead partners access to HubSpot, which is a CRM system, really with the intention to help you manage all of your tasks. You know, remember that you've got to call a prospect next Tuesday at 12 to set reminders, those sort of things. You'd have access to that, and then finally, you would have your own personal online account that would allow you to actually log in and see, okay, how many web demonstrations have I scheduled? Of those, you know, which demonstrations have actually completed and are qualified, which ones were a no-show, maybe have there been some that have been rescheduled, just so we can make sure that our inside sales team is really keeping you guys in the loop in terms of where that prospect is in the sales process. Your online account will also include, though, the ability for you to see all of your commissions, so you know what you've been paid in the past, and you also know what you can expect on your upcoming commission check. So additionally, if we talk about training, though, our team has worked really hard, again, to make sure that we are preparing you to really grow your business. So we do have a resource center. It's got, of course, a training manual, phone scripts, email scripts. We've got a few different videos as well. All of that's available to you. We launched last month the growth track, which is basically a series of 4. All of our lead partners join when they first sign up. Maybe 6 to 8 months down the road, they'll jump back in again. But it really is intended to kind of help you jumpstart your business as a lead partner. I do offer special webinars once or twice a quarter. I try to do that as well. So those are available. And then finally, within 7 days of signing up, we'd schedule a 1-hour training session together. And then, of course, after that, if we needed to do like a weekly or a biweekly call, that would be available as well. All of that, of course, the investment with us is an annual fee of $5.99. But, you know, to Joe's point, we really are looking for people that are interested in either know-how or interested really in learning how to have that business conversation. And so, as you guys can see, we've really worked hard to make sure that we can prepare you for that. So very quickly, if we talk about different ways to schedule web demonstrations, of course, cold calling is always a very efficient way in terms of outbound. Walk-ins, though, here, number 5, are always going to give you your highest conversion rate. So we certainly encourage that you, as you're really kind of getting out there and having these conversations, walk-ins are great because if maybe you want to go have a cup of coffee or maybe you want to go grab lunch, at that point you're a paying customer, and of course the manager or the owner will want to have a conversation with you at that time. So it might present itself with a great time to have that conversation. Conversely, warm calling from referrals, email campaigns, and then of course utilizing direct messaging through social media platforms is always a really great way to get that conversation started. And of course, we really train on all of the ways to schedule demonstrations through those venues there. So at this point, though, in our presentation today, we'll actually focus in on what the demonstration would look like for a merchant that you've scheduled a demonstration with. So the first thing, of course, that we always do when we're working with a prospect is, of course, we're going to tell them a little bit more about what our commitment is and what our vision is. And as Joe mentioned, we really believe here at TL Connects that brick and mortar businesses should be able to engage with their customers in a very simple and a very direct way. And so we help them increase their customer frequency and revenues through our digital loyalty kiosk that's going to help them automate and enhance that one-on-one digital relationship. So we do that through text messaging, picture messaging, our loyalty program, social media, various other features that we have on the back end. And typically, our customers will see anywhere from about 1,500 to 2,500 new customer signups per year, which means for that merchant that they're growing their database, right, by over 1,500 customers on an annual basis. And then the majority of our clients on average within the first 6 to 12 months actually will see anywhere between a 5 to 10 times their monthly return on their investment. So we do have that client success team, those dedicated account managers in place to make sure that all of our merchants are seeing these returns. We work hard to make sure that we understand their market, their customer base, and really what's gonna work best for them within our platform. So always something that we really focus on. You guys will also see here at the bottom of my screen that there are several different recognizable national brands that we definitely work with. We've got a heavy presence in Chick-fil-A. I believe we're in over like 400 Smoothie King, same thing here for Twice Daily and Shoney's. So we definitely like to let our merchants know. It gives us a little bit of credibility, right, that we are working with these national franchises. But as a reminder to you guys and to them as well, I really think that our business really has been grown by those mom and pop businesses. And it's really where we do the best. So let's talk a little bit about the product itself. So of course we've got that digital loyalty kiosk. It's going to sit at the point of sale or the hostess stand. It is 4G enabled, so it's plug and play, and it's where the customer has the opportunity to enter in their phone number and then of course their first name. It takes less than 20 seconds for them to do. And at that point they're now entered into not only the merchant's database, but they're also entered into, of course, a loyalty program. So in this case, every time that Jane comes in, she's able to check in right at the kiosk. It's going to give her another punch on her punch card until she gets to that last visit, of course, where she'll be able to take advantage of whatever promotion that the merchant has put in place. She also, though, as far as the merchants are concerned, the merchants will be able to really put some parameters around how often Jane can check in, right? The last thing that we want is for her to be able to come in 12 times a day just to get that extra punch. And so our system does allow the merchant to put those parameters there just to prevent fraud. But of course, once she gets to that last punch, she's actually able to redeem that directly from the kiosk. So she would be able to choose redeem. Immediately, though, she'll be sent a text message that is time and date stamped. She'll be able to show that then to the person behind the counter and then go ahead and take advantage of that promotion. So as you can see, it's very simple for the end user, not only to enter their information into this loyalty program, but of course to actually be able to start getting value from that, and super simple as well for the merchants. Another feature that we have within the system is a trigger-based SMS autoresponder. These are actually pretty heavily used within the platform because they're super simple for the merchant to just toggle them on and then forget about it. So I'll use our "We Miss You" text as an example. So a merchant would have the ability to go in. We've got these pre-templated autoresponders there ready for them. They just toggle it on, and then the system will actually go through every single day. And anyone that is not checked in within the past 30 days will be sent a "We Miss You" text, of course, with a promotion that the merchant actually outlines. So the merchant's able to toggle it on and forget about it. The system's going to work for them at that point. And you guys, this is really what helps to drive upwards of 25% of lapsed customers coming in each month. Again, specifically because the merchant just doesn't really have to do anything. You know, customers are coming in, they're adding their information to their database, and then our platform is really doing the rest for them. Another feature that we have is our text alert campaigns. These are actually really fun, and they're very, very customizable text messages. So essentially, maybe a merchant that has a really phenomenal happy hour wants to send out a text message reminder to its top 50 clients, right? So the merchant not only has the ability to customize the message that's going out, but also to a specific group of recipients. Most of our clients will see anywhere from about 3 to 5% redemption rate. You're doing really good if you get up to that 5%. Of course, though, you'll notice here Chick-fil-A, Juice Bar, they've actually seen a much higher, upwards of about 18% redemption rate for a text alert campaign. And of course, our account management team really works closely with our merchants to really help them outline what types of campaigns make the most sense for their type of business, maybe what times of day are going to make the most sense for the highest redemption rate. So we really work hard to make sure that they're able to get the most out of this specific feature. And a text alert campaign could be a text message. It also could be a picture message. Of course, we always coach like a restaurant as an example to use a picture message, because if you're hungry and you get a text message of a burger at lunchtime, you're probably going to want a burger. So we really, again, work with our merchants to make sure that they're able to make the most of those features. Another feature we have within the system is our keyword marketing platform. I'm a huge fan of this one. I think it actually really gives a merchant some pretty phenomenal insight into how well their advertising is doing. So as an example, our system will generate a number, and then of course the merchant has the ability to pick out their keyword, and then every single time that keyword is texted into that specific number, our system's going to keep metrics of that, right? So we know exactly how many times a customer has texted that word in. And again, this could be for maybe a coupon book, for print media, for social media. And the intention here is really that it's giving that merchant the insight into how well their advertising is doing. Maybe next year they need to shift most of their advertising budget to social media because that's where they're getting the most response. So definitely gives them a lot of insight. Bounce backs are redeemable right at the kiosk as well, and they really are intended to just provide an extra incentive to bring customers back within a shorter period of time. So they're offered at the kiosk and then, of course, redeemed at the kiosk. And then finally, we have a mini URL system within the platform, which really just takes that long, social media URL, shortens it into a URL that can be put into a text message without using up too many characters. And then, of course, it's going to track how many clicks are actually coming through for that very specific website or URL. So whereas keyword marketing is giving a merchant a really good idea of how well their advertising is doing and bringing business into their store, our mini URL system really gives a merchant a great idea of how much business they're actually driving to their online presence. So that one's always a really fun one. Now, we're going to jump into the actual product here in just a second, but I always like to point out dashboards that we have within the system at this point, just because I think that they're so powerful, not only for us and our account management team as we're really helping to grow our merchants and their business, but we also really believe that at any given time, we should be earning our clients' business. And this is a great way to do that, to allow them at any point to be able to log in and see just how much business is being driven by our platform. So we'll go over those a little bit more in depth, but the reason that we think that that's so important is because if we talk about pricing, we actually don't require any sort of contract for our merchants. It's strictly month to month. There are two different types of subscriptions. So one is a standard subscription. It's $159 a month, and it provides them with 2,500 credits. Now, you guys, a credit is going to correlate directly to a text message or a picture message. If we look at our premium subscription, which, as Joe mentioned earlier, over 90% of our customers actually go with the premium just because they get so much more. But premium is $249 per month, or if a merchant has multiple locations, it's actually $199 per month per location. But premium is going to give them 7,500 credits. Now, if we think back to the very start of our session today, I mentioned that every merchant actually grows their database by anywhere from 1,500 to 2,500 new customer signups every year, right? So you guys can imagine that by year 3 or year 4, their database has gotten pretty large. And so it's not uncommon for our clients to actually have a need to purchase additional credits, and we do give them the ability to do that. So the good news for you is, as a lead partner, of course, is that these accounts could be growing really without you ever having to do anything, which is always a ton of fun. So I'm going to just pause here for a second and invite you guys to send in any questions that you may have, at least to this point. And then here in a moment, we'll actually jump into the product itself. I think it's a really good idea to be able to show you guys how easy the system is to use, and it's always fun to kind of delve into to the actual product from a merchant's perspective. So again, just going to give you guys one more minute. Joe, before we jump in, is there anything you want to add? No? Is there a yearly cost to the agent? That's a great question, and yes, there is. Let me just take us back to. Joe's having to help me out here. Perfect. Okay, so we go back. Here we are. Thanks, Joe. So there is an annual fee, and it's $5.99. And again, just to recap, what's included in that, of course, is going to be the branded website, the demo kiosk, that printed sales collateral, and then of course custom link and all of the training. Is the split always 20/80 for the agent? So keep in mind that new customer acquisition bonus is 80% of their monthly subscription, as well as their kiosk fee for that first month. And then each month thereafter, yes, it's 20% moving forward for the lead partner. So I hope that answers your question. All right, folks, so let's go ahead and let's just jump into to the product itself. So I've logged in here as Ken. He actually has a few twice daily locations and is using our system. As I mentioned, of course, it is so important that we're earning our clients' business every single day. And we need to really provide them with the ability to see exactly how much business our system is bringing to their enterprise at any given time. So one way that we do that, of course, is with our dashboards. So when Ken logs in, he's able to see his all-time results. So he knows he's had over 3 million check-ins. He knows that he's had close to 1 million offers redeemed and has made, our platform has actually brought him in somewhere around $7.5 million in revenue. So he's able to really see those all-time results. But what I really want to point out here is that Ken has the ability now to also get pretty granular. So if he wants to be able to see maybe how he did over the last 12 months or maybe just last month. Conversely, if he wants to be able to see how well certain locations are doing as compared to other locations, he's got the ability to do that as well. Our client success team members have the ability to see this too. So we're able to really see, okay, Ken, maybe all of your locations are doing great, but there's a couple of locations that we really think we might be able to help. Would you like us to give your manager a call or give that team a call, see what we can do about increasing their return on investment. So it gives us a lot of insight as well. And then, of course, he can see his subscriber growth. He can see his check-in growth, new versus returning, and then, of course, that check-in frequency. So a lot of data here. What we'll actually do, though, you'll notice under our programs tab here, we've got all of the features that we went over a few moments ago. I'm not going to go into each of those, but I do think it's important for you guys to have a very clear understanding of how simple the platform is to use for a merchant. So I'll just use our text alert campaigns as an example. Now, of course, each one of these features has its own dashboard. So Ken, of course, can really log in and see very quickly how well each one of, maybe his redemption rates are for each one of these features. And then, of course, again, if we scroll down, he can get pretty granular to see specifically what type of campaigns are doing the best for him. But if we want to create a new text alert, and again, just to show you guys how easy this system is to use, in the top right-hand corner, Ken's able to click on create a new text alert. The first thing he wants to do is really just decide who does he want this text alert campaign to go to. So maybe he just wants to send it to a couple of his Nashville locations. Maybe he actually also wants to say, okay, of those locations, I want to send it to my top 100 of all time. Okay, so he decides who's this going to go to. Once he does that, then he can actually start building the campaign. So for reference, we'll say maybe a free fountain drink. This is October. He can decide when he wants this text message to be delivered, like a very specific date, of course, even a specific time as well. And then he can actually start building this text message. And you guys will notice here on the right-hand side of my screen, as I start building this, you'll be able to actually preview it. So I'm going to say free fountain drink. But it's going to say at the kiosk when it's redeemed there. And then I'll also say, enjoy a free fountain drink with us during your next visit. And again, we can see a nice preview here. Now, any merchant also has the ability, of course, to upload several photos and have them stored within the system. And then, of course, as you can see, can choose that for any text alert campaign. Maybe Ken wants to include a first name, an expiration date, and even a location, which is pretty cool. So the location is actually, little link here is going to give the recipient the ability to see exactly which locations within the close to them will honor this very specific promotion, and it'll actually give them driving directions to the closest one, which is pretty cool. So that's always really important. And then once Ken's done that took us less than what, maybe a minute here. Once he's done that, he's able to go ahead and click next and send out that text alert campaign. So again, all of the features within our system are very simple to use, just like this one, and of course have a lot of different dashboards. So now I know we've got a couple of questions coming in here. One is the tablet provided to the merchant wireless 4G enabled? And yes, it is. So again, it is plug and play. And the merchant has the ability really to just, turn it on, make sure that it's got power, and then of course it connects to that data.
I'll jump in and answer a couple of these questions as well. So one of the questions is there a system in place to prevent multiple signups from the same phone number? To answer that question, there absolutely is. It only allows you to check in once per day. Another question is kind of on top of that one, is there a system to prevent accidental multiple text or intentional multiple fraudulent text? Yes, so you actually have to reply yes to be able to receive any text from our system. So you sign up at the kiosk, then you reply yes, letting them know that is your cell phone number that you want to receive offers from that specific merchant. So if they accidentally hit the wrong number, the person would get that text, that first text, but they wouldn't opt in. So they wouldn't get theirs, and they would actually go in there and do it again, right, to get their text. Brings up a very good question. So we've been at this for 7 years, and the most important part about this industry that you should be aware of is it's a very highly regulated industry, the text message marketing. So the CAN spam laws are very clear on what you need to do to make sure you get written permission. And we actually have, you're supposed to have a double opt-in. We have a triple opt-in because of the kiosk. So most, when you sign up at the kiosk, we have a long disclosure that covers our customers and us from a legal perspective. And then by them replying yes, that's a secondary signature. So we're actually getting two signatures from our merchant whenever they come in. Good questions coming in. We got another one here. Can a merchant like a car dealership or hotel geo-target versus total? So you can filter. You can't, because you have to have an app on a cell phone, like either on Apple or Android, to be able to geo-target. And some real challenges with geo-targeting, just kind of not to get too off subject here, but you actually have to have the app open and allow location services turned on. And it's a small percentage of people that download an app will allow that. Plus, it has to be running in the background as well. So there's a lot of challenges to actually be able to do geo-targeting at a scale. But one of the things that we do know is where people shop. And based on time perspective, we know that they either live or work in that area a big percentage of the time. And the reason that is there's been studies that come out. People typically spend money at brick and mortar places in about a 3 to 5 mile radius of where they live and work. So we do have some information on that. Yes, we do know where people spend money. So yes, we can target customers based on locations. Another question we had is, are merchants okay with free offers usually? That's actually a really good question. So when our account managers are working with them, we only recommend free on the sign-up offer. In a lot of cases, we don't even do it then. So when you look at the digital punch card, we recommend something like 5 off 10 or 5 off 15. Typically, we even go a little bit deeper and say, what's your average ticket, Mr. Customer? If your average ticket's $10, well, why don't we do 5 off 15? So we increase the average ticket, it changes their habits, make them buy something different. And the customers are still getting that $5 off, but the merchant's not losing money on that transaction, which works out extremely well for that merchant. I think I answered that the question about the zip code plus the 5-mile radius. We don't currently do that because we know where the customer's location is, and we do map where people spend money at all of our locations because they're in multiple databases a lot of times. But we can't currently log in and filter by zip code plus a 15-mile radius because we don't currently track customer zip codes by individual customers. Now we can buy some of that data because we have permission, to use their cell phone number. But even then, it's not 100% because you could be a part of a cell phone plan and you're the daughter of, you're under your dad's plan, and so that's we're really more helping that merchant by location and by different filters within their customer have the ability to filter to their specific customers. So it's more of a one-to-one relationship within their individual databases. Can we add a question of zip code on the sign up? So we actually only allow 2 pieces of information to be on the sign up. Can you ask for that information via text? Yes, you could do via text with an autoresponder, but not on the kiosk. And we only allow the cell phone number and first name on the kiosk. That's been probably one of the things that we've done that's made us most successful, because for every piece of information you ask for, you're going to have a reduced adoption rate of about 8%. And so compared to some of our competitors that ask for a lot more information and make it more complicated to sign up, from all the numbers that we've looked at, it varies based on the competitor, but we have 5 to 12 times higher adoption rates than most of our competitors. And the reason is we make it so simple to sign up. Our philosophy is let's get permission to send them a text, which has a 98% open rate. And then from there, we have that 98% open rate. We can continue to add value and build a better platform, or build a better relationship with that customer. Let's see here. So we got another question. Do you ever send out leads, companies in our own zip codes that you don't have but need the system, even though that is our job? That's a good question, actually. So yeah, we'll definitely help you with how to. Part of the training is how do you find leads. One of the big advantages of our industry is the amount of leads that are out there. There's over 2 million brick and mortar merchants in the U.S. right now. Right now, from everything that we can gather, there's only about 25,000 kiosks that are, in our world out there in the entire U.S. So there's tons of opportunity. And yes, we can help you with where to get leads and how to buy lists, and from for a specific zip code, it'll give you the owner's name, and we can help you with all that. Absolutely. We'll leave it open for a couple more seconds. And in the meantime, I'm actually going to, if anyone's ready to kind of get started and join the team, I'm going to give you guys a link to get signed up. If not, you can call and kind of chat one-on-one with Amanda, and we can answer any other questions you may have about the platform. But we'd love to get you guys started and get you out there building a big residual. And we find if you know a couple restaurant owners, the great thing about getting started, if you know a few people, people you visit, places you go, with that acquisition bonus of $400, roughly $400 when you get started, it's gonna you're gonna be able to hit the ground running pretty quick. And our team is ready to kind of really get out there and start making sales for you. And we find once you get your kiosk shipped to you, one of the great things we will train you on is once you're out in the field, having lunch, having breakfast, having dinner. One of the great things you can do is it's probably the easiest way to get business is ask for the owner after your meal. tell them how much you appreciated, the service and the meal, and say, hey, I've got a way to maybe increase some revenue, increase some customer frequency, and I'd love just to present our product to you, and you can schedule a business right there. So I'm gonna put that link in here now. You guys can, if you decide you want to sign up, you can go ahead and do that. And we just had another question come in, so I'll answer that as well. Is there ability for larger stores with multiple collection points or registers able to buy additional kiosk? Absolutely. So we do have, for instance, Chick-fil-A's. We got some Chick-fil-A's that have multiple kiosks. We don't go after these all the time, but we're actually in grocery stores as well. And we have grocery stores that have a kiosk at every lane. And we typically charge them $250 for those additional kiosks. Good question here. How much expertise needed to secure leads? To actually get the leads is not that hard. They're easy to find. That's the easy part. The hard part is acquiring the demos. So we don't want to sit here and act like it's an easy thing to do. It's a grind. You got to hustle. You got to go out there and create relationships. You got to make a bunch of calls, walk into a bunch of doors. But the great thing about it, when you're looking at, to be honest, like I've ran multiple companies. This is not my first company I founded. It's never easy. Like you got to go out there and you just got to hustle and you start building the residual. And the great thing about a platform like this is, we've already spent the millions of dollars to build the platform. We've got proven results. We've got case studies. So it's a heck of a lot easier today than it was when, I was out selling it 7 years ago, going door to door when we didn't have, the product didn't look as good. The product, we didn't have any proof. So yeah, I mean, it's not easy, but it's from an expertise standpoint. You don't have to have a ton of expertise. You got to be willing to put in the work.
And we do, to that point as well, Joe, I'm just going to add to that. So to that point as well, we really do talk a lot about and train a lot on once you've really built up your prospect list, we talk a lot about information gathering and how to do that. So we'll train you on that. And then, of course, we provide a lot of email and phone scripts to really help you for every single touch that you're doing in order to secure that demonstration. So that's a great question. It's a great question. Well, you guys, we are getting ready to wrap up here. So all really fantastic questions. We'll just kind of hang out for just another minute or so in case you guys have any more that may come up. But we just entered into our chat box there the link that you'll need to get signed up. Keep in mind that if you guys decide to move forward, I'll be giving you a call really within about 24 hours just to make sure that you got all the information that you need and then to go ahead and schedule that initial training.
Good question here. So if I close the account with TL, is there additional residual? We're going to give you all the tools to be able to actually go out there and close the account. We provide the service of having our inside sales team that actually, every day they're closing and doing deals themselves. And so, we're going to provide that infrastructure for you. But if you go out and close, the residual doesn't increase. But we just have that service for you if you don't want to go through the entire process of actually closing the deal. Over time, I think what will happen is, and what we've seen is in the beginning, you're going to be involved. You may even sit on all the calls, right? When the lead partners or when our inside sales reps doing the presentation. And over time, when you're walking indoors, you'll be able to present and maybe even go through the process of closing. But we don't want you to have to become an expert on the product. So that's why we put that infrastructure in place. There is no protected territory because we're not selling. When you think about protected territory, you'd have to pay a lot more than $599 to be able to say it's more of a franchise at that point where you're buying an area and it gets really expensive. And we talked about that route, but the market's so large. I mean, there's over 2 million businesses in the U.S. that are brick and mortar that fit our profile, and there's about 25,000 of them out there using a similar program. So the market is, it's pretty wide open. I will say this: we're still really early in our channel partner program and our lead partner program. So right now, everything's been sold by our own inside sales team and our own outside sales team. Here pretty much in the Southeast. I mean, we're in 40 states, but our density's in the Eastern United States. So it's still really early. So now is one of those times that You get involved now, you're with us 2 or 3 years. Obviously, 2 or 3 years from now, we may have, several hundred people doing this, and there will be a little bit more density from people calling on them. But we're still so early in that because it's such a new program. So this is a good question. If someone upsets a merchant in an area that will travel, will it affect my income? No, I mean, so when you set up a merchant, that's your merchant. Now as long as they're paying us, and I mean, one of the great things that we have is dedicated account managers. A lot of companies don't do that. It was something important to us early on that we want to make sure we're taking care of that customer. Now, if the customer leaves us, obviously that will affect your residual income. But our attrition rate's extremely low. I mean, it's less than 10%, which is really good for a software company to have less than 10% attrition rate per year. So I mean,
I want to add too on the flip side of that as well. Keep in mind too that these accounts typically grow each year just because their database is growing, and so their need for additional credits within their pricing plan actually continues to grow. So that's a great question. Also keep in mind though on the flip side of that without you having to do anything, our account management team is going to be upselling that account, and you're going to be able to reap the benefits from that as well.
And Sean, one thing I kind of just realized, I think you may have some merchant service background, selling, which is more of a commodity. So I really kind of understand where you're coming from, where it's just a really cutthroat business, where it's all you walk in, it's like I can save you $500 on your merchant services. So it's a very commoditized world, and there's thousands of people selling that product. Actually, tens of thousands of people selling that product, right? And I think in this opportunity, what we found is just a lot different than we found those people to be very successful, the merchant service reps, but it's very different in the fact that you're not dealing in such a competitive market. So we're actually changing this. This is a good question as well, so keep them coming. We'll stay here all night answering questions. We love this is the fun part, right? Is there required production per agent? So there's not production on actual closes. We currently have a production of 3 web demos per quarter, so 1 a month. We are likely going to remove that because we have a lot of agents now that are managing more of the sales process and want to manage more of the sales process. And so they're not going to be providing any demos because they want to manage more of the sales process. So that will be likely removed. We haven't actually made that final decision on that. But currently, as it stands today, it's 3 per quarter.
1 a month.
So 1 a month is kind of that number. So, a half day's work.
And by 1 a month or 3 a quarter, we mean demonstration scheduled, not necessarily that 1 per month or 3 per quarter have closed.
So kind of an interesting question. How was the 20% residual amount arrived at? A couple things. Let me walk you through a little bit of the business model that's a lot different than maybe some of the other businesses you've approached. We actually have a cost of goods, which a lot of software companies don't. I have to pay the carriers for every message that's sent or received. Consumers don't think about this because as a consumer, you get an unlimited plan. But commercial text, I actually have to pay the carriers for every text that's sent or received. So we do have a cost of good for one. We have infrastructure, right? So we have account managers. We've spent a lot of money to build the software. We're constantly spending money to make the product better and build new products to get our customers more value. And one of the main reasons I kind of came to 20% is if you look at a company and you look at the net income at the end of the year, if you can build a company and have 20% net income, you've built a really strong company. That's kind of the number that large companies look for. Like we after all expenses, all employees, healthcare, lights, everything's paid for, you have 20% income. And so we have the infrastructure in place. So we felt like 20% was that number, right? Because that's the number that's going to be a great residual that we can afford and continue to build and add new products. So that's really where the number came from, because if you can run a company and have 20% net income at the end of the year, you've got a pretty solid company. Hope that helps give you some insight. we'll keep it going for a few more minutes because I'm getting some great questions, or we're getting some great questions. So take advantage of me while I'm here, because
then you guys are going to be stuck with me.
Did we talk about the fact that people can come to Nashville and do the?
We did not, actually, and that's something that's pretty new for us. But Joe, why don't you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. So one of the things that we, as we continue to build this network out, we want to have really good relationships with our partners, and we want to really get to know them. And the way we've gotten to know them now is through video chat and through. Amanda, she was talking about, she does weekly webinars and she has one-on-one calls, but you still sometimes just want to do stuff face to face. See the product, meet the team, know who's behind that phone call. And so what we're launching now is once a month, we'll have a 2-day session where, anyone can come. You can come every month if you want to. And it's just going to be sales training, product training, really just everything, kind of really get to know the team, meet the person that started the company, meet the developers, meet the account managers that are managing the accounts you closed, really to help create more transparency, and really help you understand, like, this is the company I'm partnering with. The way we're going to do that, there's not going to be a charge for that. You just have to get yourself here and, take care of your expenses to get here. But besides that, you'll be, welcome to come and come learn and meet the people and come have some fun with us. And if you drink beer, maybe drink a beer with me.
Thirsty Thursdays.
Absolutely. So if you're at a conference, I have a director of marketing that can help with designing any kind of information you need to design for the trade show. For something that big, I would even send out a person or two to help assist in actually selling it and kind of helping you manage that process. So
where is this conference? I might like to join.
And we do really, it's funny you mentioned C-stores, because that's what we were showing you. We do really well in C-stores. Mm-hmm. That is correct. Yeah. So you go to that link, and to get started, you'll pay the $599 fee. That'll kind of kick off the process. Within 24 hours, we'll ship out a kiosk that's going to have the demo on it, have the presentation. It'll also have a link to your future landing page. It'll be your own personalized landing page where people can schedule demos.
Flyers. We'll send out
the flyers.
We'll send out flyers that you guys can also use if you just happen to be walking into a business. So those will go out within the first week. And then what you can expect after that, of course, is I'll give you a ring within the first 24 hours. Make sure you have access to our resource center and your online account. And then I will we'll also schedule that initial training session and get that on the books, and then even outline either a biweekly or, of course, weekly call, just to make sure that we're supporting you as you're getting started.
Well, Texas is an easy flight for us. DFW, we got Southwest, so we can get there easily for that show. So, awesome. We'll give you guys a couple more minutes here to type, because they keep coming in, which is good. Yes, you would. So if we brought help, it would still be, you're setting it up. It's your account. It's the same as you scheduling a web demo, right? So we're there to assist you in closing the account, but absolutely, it's your account. Take that a step further. One thing we probably didn't really talk about, as accounts grow, it's your account, and as they grow, your residual goes up. So I'll give you a good example. About 5 years ago, we closed an account called Juice Bar. Their first location, they've now franchised, and they have 50 locations. They're adding another 100. Now, it's a great story. Doesn't happen very often, but, we now are part of their franchise organization. Every time they add a new location, we get added with them. And so from a rep perspective, that's one account, and you would be paid off every single one of those, and that would be 150 locations. That one account would be paying a rep somewhere around $60,000 a year right now. But that doesn't happen very often, so I don't want to act like that's something that's the norm, right? We got pretty lucky on that one. But it will happen at smaller scale. People will add new locations, and our account managers are always on top of that. So you can be, they're always looking for opportunities to get the customer to, spend more money with us if it adds value to the business.
And the goal with those two is to make sure that, that our platform actually becomes really a part of the brand. Right. And it's something that with every single location is really part of their brand and a necessity for the success of their business.
Good question. How does this work with thrift stores? We haven't done USPS mail out, but they do have retail, so they could sell stuff. So that makes sense. But thrift stores, let's talk about that a little bit. We do phenomenal in thrift stores, and I'll tell you why. It's the type of person that's looking for a good deal, and they have inventory changing all the time. So that creates frequency already on its own. So as they're doing different things, one of the things they can do is use our platform to talk about discounts, because they're always wanting to churn that. They're always wanting to churn that information, churn the inventory. Sorry, they always want to churn the inventory. So they need a way to communicate to get rid of inventory when they're giving big sales, so they get new inventory in. So they're always doing that. So. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, you've got thrift stores using UPS to mail out to college kids. Yeah, we have a thrift store. Let me show you actually here. This is even more specific than a thrift store. It's a children's thrift store. Let's see here. And I think they have like 12,000 people at one location. Let me go. This is 1 second here.
Joe, and how long have they been with us? Do you remember?
This one signed up. This one's been with us about 5 years.
Okay.
So they signed up in 2012. They've got 9,000 people that have signed up for the program at one. This is one location. It actually is a Once Upon a Child. Yeah. We also have Closed Mentor. There's other one, Plato's Closet, that's out there as well. We haven't really went after them, but they're God, the numbers are just really good inside those businesses, because it sounds like about Once Upon a Child. They have these little dots. I sold the account, so I remember from back in the day, like yellow, green, and red, and you get a certain percentage off, and they're always moving those around to churn that inventory. And they'll throw a bigger bigger discount on top of that whenever they send out a text. Yep, absolutely. The Winmark brand, Winmark Corporation, Plato's, and Once Upon a Child. I think there's one more under that. Play It Again Sports, I think, is the other one with them. Yep, you're absolutely correct. Just out of curiosity, since we're rolling with this, I mean, it sounds like a couple of you guys already have relationships. Is that kind of the idea of kind of what you're looking at right now from an opportunity perspective, looking for multiple streams of income using some of the relationships you already have?
Awesome. Thank you, guys. You guys have really stuck with us for quite a while. Joe, I'm glad you were able to join. You had some wonderful questions. And I would love to, for those of you that sign up tonight or would just maybe like to have another conversation tomorrow, please send me over your phone number and I will be sure to reach out to you personally and answer any additional questions that you might have.
Yeah, if you haven't already, I know we've gotten a couple people. If you could just send over your cell phone, you can send that directly instead of to everyone. We'd love to just reach out to you. Sean, I'd love to maybe join on that call tomorrow as well. So we're really going after a lot of the merchant service people. We're really interested because what we've learned, I'd love just some advice and some of your opinion, because what we've learned is there's some challenges with just walking in and having that main product of merchant services because it's such a commodity. And one of the things that we're interested in is, can we give people like yourself an opportunity, obviously go to your current database, but as you continue to grow, this is a way to lead in, and then you pick up the merchant service and pick up other ancillary business. But maybe this becomes a lead to add value first and then get the merchant service. So yeah, that's awesome. Looks like you've been doing it a while, so love to hear advice from you. Great. We're going to leave it open, so if you want to give us your cell phone number and email address, that'd be great. Unfortunately, the system doesn't give us all that information. But really do appreciate your guys spending the time with us today, and it's always fun to jump on these calls and get to answer the questions and get involved. So really appreciate you guys sticking with us, as Amanda said, and look forward to hopefully working with a couple of you, if not all of you, if it ends up working out that way.
And all of you should have in the signature of my email, my direct line, my office number, my email address, all that good stuff. So please let me know how I might support, what additional questions that you might have in terms of getting started, and I'll be happy to assist and go from there.
Thanks, guys.